Good morning. Today we are going to talk about something which should be of interest to every human being, every parent, every leader. And that is the fate of our children. The fate of the children who are going to be the citizens of tomorrow. You see, I was having a look at the Canadian porn laws and I was shocked. Shocked at the ambiguity, contrariness, as well as the utter lack of sensitivity in these laws. Can you imagine that exchanging pictures, especially sexually explicit pictures on the internet, is a crime? Because that leads to the cyberbullying, and rightly so. But then there is a certain provision which makes it perfectly legal, and that is in case the exchange is mutual, then it's legal. Now, consensual exchange of pictures between a boy and a boy and a boy and a girl or a girl and a girl is legal, but if it's without consent, it is illegal. Now, this is a very dicey issue. At the age of 10, 11, 12, 14, and so on, the child is immature. And in the heat of the youthful or the childish passion, a girl may like and agree to provide a nude picture to her boyfriend and say, okay, you can post it. And later on, she might retract, and the boy is guilty. Who is at fault? Secondly, what is the guarantee that the boy or the girl do not post those sexually explicit pictures and then say later on, well, he agreed. It was a verbal agreement. There can be no witness, no evidence of that, but that is clearly a case of a consent. And then the second part is still more worrisome. That is, that while the punishment for cyberbullying is 5 years, for the distribution of a sexually explicit picture is 14 years. So first, the very concept of the consensual exchange of the explicit pictures on the net is confusing and fraught with danger. Secondly, the distribution is considered to be a more deadly crime, more serious crime than the actual act of posting. Distribution can be done by a person who is least interested. He might be a voyeur of pornography, I don't deny that. But he sees a picture, a nice picture according to him. And then he distributes it to his friends, and that is a crime which can be punished by a rigorous imprisonment of 14 years. Now, I already said that the very concept of the consensual exchange of pictures, consensual exchange of the sexually explicit pictures is permitted. That should not be done. You provide the incentive and then you blame the kids. Kids are immature. They have to be guided. And the age of consent should be clearly delineated. In Canada, for example, the age of consensual sex is 13, which is hardly the age of puberty. Can there be anything more ridiculous? Not according to me. Secondly, even if it's consensual, why should you post it on the net? The moment you post anything on the net, it becomes a public property. It's no longer in your control. And once it's on net, even if you delete it, even if you withdraw it, it is still somewhere in the ether. And any geek can use it or misuse it. This very concept of sharing sexually explicit pictures, sexually explicit messages is fraught with danger. It leads to a diversion from the studies, which is bad by itself, diversion from the main business of life, preparing for life, that's worse, leads you astray and leads to cyberbullying. And when cyberbullying starts, then it's a persecution, it's a torture, and the child either becomes withdrawn, despondent, depressed, melancholic, depressive maniac, and a danger to society itself. And then he can react in two ways. Either he'll become obsessively depressive, thereby ceasing to be a useful member of society, or he would become violent and become a rebel. Rebels are good. Rebels with a cause are good. But rebels, just for the sake of being rebels, is not appropriate for the society. And they become a rebel as a sort of destroyers, not as creators. Now there's a difference between the rebellions as well. That will take up some other time, but here I'm concerned with the issue of the laws that need to be changed. Why should a purveyor of child pornography, a person who is responsible for that, not be punished? They say distributor. First thing is, who supplies the distributor with that sexually explicit material? If the distributor is himself a sort of a promoter, then it definitely needs to be punished. But in case it's quite possible he might be an innocent spectator. Not that I'm advocating that it's desirable. The whole activity is, as a matter of fact, reprehensible and detestable. The whole activity is fraught with danger, and that must not be permitted. Nevertheless, till now, despite the fact that in the last year more than 10 children committed suicide because of cyberbullying, because of the increased inclusion and expansion of the gangs and the prostitution, as a result of this exchange of explicit material, the government doesn't seem to have taken any action. Now imagine psychologically, once a child's explicit photo is released on the net, it becomes a sort of a public property. The child may be mistreated or not mistreated, that's something different. That, of course, is a serious concern, because bullying, as I said earlier, impinges on the psyche of the child and destroys the personality of the child. But imagine even if it doesn't, what's happening? The child is becoming immune to all sense of decency. Once the aura of shame and modesty is gone, once you come out explicitly showing your body showing is not bad, but the showing body with a sexually motivating factor is bad. So then that's a first step towards moral degradation. Some people might think that I'm too conservative. I'm not. But I always respect the sense of protecting one's body, because one's body reflects one's soul. You know, there's a very thin connection. Once you have started going downhill, if you got downhill, then it's okay. Okay, either you accept that you're professionally going to be sexually active, you are going to become a sex worker, then of course it's perfectly okay. But 85% of the population doesn't believe in that. Even if they are that, they at least retain a modicum of some modesty, some cover, some camouflage. Right or wrong, I'm not concerned with that. But there's an societal attitude. And the societal attitudes impinge on the children's psyche. These porn laws need to be modified. And the laws regarding internet need to be modified, strengthened. As a matter of fact, it's a responsibility of the parents and the teachers to see that the children are supervised very closely while on the internet. But supervision is not enough. They have to ensure as well that the children's peer group is what? The time of individual watching is over. You don't watch your child only. You watch the children with whom your child associates. And now comes another question, the question of privacy. You have no right to watch the children of other people. So what do you do then? So it's a soft approach. Hard approach will not help you. Soft approach would help you. So soft approach coupled with the changes in law. Unfortunately, our lawmakers are more concerned with baubles, with things that do not impact our future children. They are more concerned with the matters that can give them more votes, can give them more wealth, can give them more power, rather than empower the country and empower the society. Can you believe that in case the government decides to take an action, it would not take long time to do it. And now this thing leads to another thing. There's a global youth issue. Do you know that today 280 million people, 290 million youth between the age of 20 to 25 are unemployed? That's almost the population of the United States of America, all over the world. Looking at the global youth well-being index, I found something amazing. Out of the 30 top countries where the youth welfare is looked after, Canada is not there at all in the top 30 countries. USA comes at number 6. India comes at number 26. So 6 and 26. Maybe Canada might be 36 or 46, wherever. But in the top 30, it does not exist. Now, the issues which afflict the children, the youth, keep on afflicting the children when they become youth. So it's a gradual transfer. And why the children cannot get a job? Because they are not prepared for that. Their skills are not matured. Now, being victimized in the childhood, they have failed to develop the skills for the employment in the youth. So there's a connectivity. Now look, take the matter further. When the youth are unemployed, and this large number of youth is unemployed, what do? When an elderly person is unemployed, he'll find something creative, something different, something innocent to pass his time. But youth has immense energy. So he'll find ways which are not conducive to the goodness of society. He would be disruptive and not in the creative sense. We need disruptionists, but who are creative. We don't want disruptionists who are destroyers. If you are a creator and a destroyer, that's welcome. But that's not so. So basically, I want to revert to that issue. that the formative periods of the childhood have been put at risk by the present legal and the jurisprudence system. They have not been given proper protection. They have been victimized by the insensate parents, senseless society, and careless political leadership. That leads to the youth being not well protected and well directed. And that leads to the general degradation of society. Choice is yours. Do you want to continue to the path of perdition, or do you want to change? Do our political leaders realize that their action at the root level, grassroots level, are going to impact the society as a whole? And not today, not tomorrow, but for years and eons to come. We need a debate, and we need an action plan. We need a proper timeline to ensure that the laws are formulated not for checking, but for promoting and transforming the psyche of the kids. Is this asking too much? I don't think so. I'd like to know our political leaders waking up to the situation and deciding to take suitable action. I'd like the community leaders to wake up, ruminate, and come up with the propositions. I'm very clear, we need an action, and we need an action today. We need an action now. Any delay, every delay is injurious.